Hello, I'm going to teach you today how to find the missing side of a special right triangle. What makes the right triangle special? What makes it special is that we know that the 90-degree angle is here. We know right triangle, you know it's going to be 90 degrees, okay? So what makes it special is that you know that 1 degree is 45 and the other angle, rather, the real angle is another 45. So that's what makes this special right triangle of 45, 45, 90-degree special right triangle, okay? So what are we trying to do? What's the purpose of this whole thing? I am so glad you asked. Because we know the degrees of each angle in this right triangle, what we need to try to find out now is simply how long each segment is. How long is this segment? How long, and that's the leg. How long is the second leg? Okay. How long is the hypotenuse? That clearly is what we are trying to find out. How long these segments are. Okay. So let me change my color here. And let's look at that. Okay. So the rule is if you know one of the legs, you can read that, you would multiply by root 2. Okay? So if you know one of the legs, you multiply by root 2. What are we going to find when we multiply by root 2 of one of our legs? We're going to find the hypotenuse. Okay? So let's just think of a problem here. So let's say our leg is 6. Okay? So since it's 45, 45 degree right triangle, that is simply saying that this is one leg, so the other leg is the same thing, which is 6. Okay? So we need to find what the hypotenuse is, and we're going to multiply by root 2 to figure out what the hypotenuse is. We're going to multiply the 6 by root 2. Okay? So from here, let's put it in our handy calculator. We will multiply 6 times root 2 and enter. And so we see from there the answer would be 6 root 2 when you multiply it. And sometimes if you want to just leave it as 6 root 2 in your answer, that's correct because you're multiplying by 6 times root 2 and you're going to get 6 root 2 as your answer. But if you want to simplify that and see, okay, exactly how much is 6 root 2, that's when you can look at the calculator and you see that answer would be 8.48, and you can round it off to 8.5 will be the length of that one leg, will be 8.5. Okay, I mean the hypotenuse, I'm sorry. It will be 8.5 because that's what we're trying to find. It's the hypotenuse. Okay, so since we know that part is 8.5, and so we know that the leg here is 6, okay, and this leg is 6. Now let's do the reverse. Let's just have a little experiment before I let you go, okay? I'm going to just undo that because I didn't want all that to go away. And I'll just use my eraser and sort of erase it. I'll pause it for a moment while I try to find it. Okay, y'all still there? I erased it. So now we have 8.5. Okay, so I still have a couple of more things I can erase that I didn't erase a minute ago. So I'm going to take just a moment to just erase this off of my screen, and here's where I left off. All right, so now what if, to make sure, let's just check ourselves, we see the hypotenuse is the 8.5 and we don't know the legs. I wonder if we would divide it by root 2, will we end up with 6? Let's try it. So if I go 8.5 divided by root 2. Okay. So let's put that in the calculator. Let's try that. So we turn it on. So let's see if we have 8.5 divided by root 2, and let's hope we end up with something like 6. Yes, we do. We get 6.0. Now, let's say if you wanted to just do it like I've shown you how to do it without the calculator, how would you divide by root? You want to get the root out of the denominator, right? So what we're going to have to do is simply multiply the top and bottom by root 2, right? So we have root 2, root 2. My writing is a little off right now. So we want to do that. Why? Because we want the bottom, the root, to come out of the bottom. So we know root 2 times root 2 is just plain old 2. I'm just going to write on top of this so you see. That'll be on the bottom of it, okay? Don't pay attention to the sheet. Just look at my writing. So now I'm going to just simply multiply 8.5 times root 2. Let's do that. We should get 6 still this way, but let's check it. Times root 2. Close parentheses. And that gives us 12. And we round it off. That could be 12.8. Well, we round it off to just 12. Now, if you divide 2 into 12, we end up with what? Yes, 6. So that confirms that if we know the hypotenuse is 8.5, we would divide it by root 2. That gives us a leg of 6. And since it's 45, 45, 90, that means that this answer, this leg, is going to be the same as the other leg. So when you have 45, 44, 90, you know the legs will always be the same.